This episode of Lords of the Storm is brought to you by our sponsors over at Patreon, where you, yes you, can also support the show. Just head over to patreon.com/Lords of the Storm to become a patron today.
This podcast is a production of HeroesHearth Entertainment. Check out all of our other shows at HeroesHearth.com. Welcome, Hearthlings.
Heroes, gather tribute and earn my favor. What do you say? Are you ready to begin?
Hey, what is up, everyone, and welcome to episode 202 of Lords of the Storm, a Heroes of the Storm podcast. My name is Greg Gizmozord Parker, and I'm joined tonight, of course, by the Zord Lords themselves, Mr. Kevin Multizord Ellis and Ryan TBKZord Reader. And on this week's episode, Fight Night Round 1 happened, and if you weren't there, you missed out. But you know what? That's okay, because there's going to be more, and there's already more HOTS action coming your way very soon. And here to help us recap and prep, as well as hit on other hot news this week, it is the co-founder and dad horse of the HeroesHearth family, Workhorse, also known as Work Ewok. Workhorse, how you doing this evening?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to have you here. TBK, Multi, how are you fellas doing this week? TBK, we'll start with you. What have you been up to?
I am doing quite well. In fact, there's a little something I need to get off my chest, because I know for the past few weeks the show has been a little doom and gloom. It's been a little dark. However, and this is kind of thanks to HeroesHearth in a way. The fight night, which we're going to talk about, kind of, I don't know, reignited my passion for Heroes. Like, I'm super pumped about Heroes again, and it was just such an amazing event, and it got me so psyched for, like, I don't know what the game is. I think it's just been so long since I just got to watch like a fun Heroes thing since the whole announcement happened. And it's just like, oh yeah, I remember why I like this game. This game is like awesome because of the people. The people are awesome, and the game's pretty fun too. And so, you know, honestly, like, I know it's a big thing. I know, like, Core tonight announced that they were becoming or turning into a little more of a variety show. And so
I'm not trying to laugh during your thing here.
I know.
It's these things.
I know. We figured out, like, if you're here in the live show, we figured out Skype emojis. Apparently, it's a thing that like pop up and like and come over your camera, and they're ridiculous. So I'm sorry, audio listeners, for Gizmo interrupting my brilliant, heartfelt. I love Heroes again. Yeah, see, this is a very serious show. No fun here. No fun here. And Multi, if you're I know you're saying something, but you're muted right now. But it's, you know, it's all for the best, really.
Yeah, I was way too busy with the emojis to actually unmute myself. But the point I was trying to make, TBK, is if you truly love Heroes again, you need to click that heart emoji. That's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm. Heart emoji?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay. Anyways, so I'm really excited. I have a feeling that, and we haven't yet, but I have a feeling we're gonna get something from the team soon. And yes, it's a smaller team. My hope for Heroes going forward is I really hope that they kind of go back into that small team mode where it's just like, okay, guys, we don't have as many resources, but we're just gonna make really cool stuff that people will like. That's my hope for Heroes going forward. Might not come as fast, but you know, in some ways it might be better.
Yep. Okay.
So I'm re-energized. I'm happy. I've got We've got lots of fun stuff to talk about. We're gonna stay talking about heroes going forward, and it's gonna be good. I'm excited.
It is. I am excited to talk to about Fight Night when we get to it here.
I played heroes this week as well.
Okay. Hey,
That's also good.
That's a good sign.
I hear you
You've
tried
been
your
playing
hand
it,
at a BR again. You know, you gave another one a shot. How did that go?
So, those that know me know I'm pretty good at most games. However, battle royales are not my forte, and Apex, while good, I want to give it props because they just dropped a game. It was pretty stable. Like it's really polished. It's not like some early access thing that's super buggy. It's like, hey, you know, good job, guys. Well done. You guys did well. It is not for me. Battle royale games are not. I'm not.
Genre,
Nope. The whole genre. You know, you guys are great. It's wonderful. Your Fortnites and your PUBGs and your Apexes and your 10 bajillion other battle royale games that are out there. It's fine. You know, let people like what they like, but not for me.
I think what you have to do is you have to go back and reread the Hunger Games, just top to bottom. Get the feel for it. You know, do you run straight for the cornucopia? Do you run into the woods and hang out and starve to death for a few days? It's totally up to you, man. Like, you got to get yourself in the mindset.
I'm one of the people who just goes, and I'm just like, ooh, loot, look, loot. And I pick up loot, and I'm like, oh, look, cool guns. And I go and pick up cool guns, and it's just like, oh, a helmet. There's a helmet. You're dead.
And then you die. Yep.
Yeah.
This is like, well, that was a waste of 15 minutes.
It's pretty much how it goes.
That's how it goes.
Workhorse, how have you been this last week? What have you been up to?
Oh, this last stretch has been crazy. Well, Fight Night on Friday was a big deal. That show had been in the works for months, and that was great. That was really, really awesome. And then up to that point, pretty much since right before the holidays, we've been working on launching the WoW site. And so we shadow launched about 70% of 1.0 last Monday, and we've been just collecting bugs and adding functionality last week, which has been pretty. We just crammed about 3 months of work into one, and so it was a lot of long days, but happy that it's out. And then honestly, a lot of rooting for Limit to kill Jaina, which they did today, which is really awesome. So I think they came in second for world second, which I think that makes 3 in a row for them overall, which is pretty fantastic. And thought maybe they were going to sneak it out this time around, but next time is going to be even more fun.
Didn't I hear the world first of the second to last boss though? That
they had a lot of the world first.
They got like 4 or 5 world first kills, but it wasn't the Jaina. The Jaina was is the spice. And so I'm really excited.
But they did well.
They did really well.
Yeah,
they did awesome.
They did really well.
Yeah.
World second is nothing to sneeze at.
I don't know.
Turns out Jaina is a bad woman. She's toughy. So
yeah, and
But
I'm excited for
any
their.
escapes. Sorry.
I'm excited for when you bloodlust. She did ice blocks, which it's like the coolest
That is a
thing.
cool mechanic.
That is the coolest
I
thing.
love that.
Yeah.
And in Multi, how are you? What have you been up to this week?
I'm just doing my thing. I've been hopping in Heroes quite a bit more too because, and we're going to get to this in just a second, but the extra week on the toy event that we got here, I still don't have one of the unicorns, and so I hit the end of the last week thinking, oh, okay, well, I'll just maybe get one next year. But there's hope now. There's hope. So I've actually been getting in there, trying to just go around the board a couple more times, best I can. Get some free loot chests. But yeah, I mean, I've been doing Diablo on the Switch and stuff. I've kind of slowed down there, though, because I don't know if you've seen the Switch leaderboards much, Gizmo. There's some hacking going on. I guess they can get offline. Yeah, there's some. They've made, like, these rings that you can socket 3 of the legendary gems into, and then, like, all of their gear has perfect stats, like, to the number and all this stuff. So, I don't know. I don't know if, like, that's something that Blizzard is going to get in there and crack down on, or if it's in Nintendo's hands now. I'm not sure what that relationship's like, but if anyone from Blizzard's listening and you don't know, that they're hacking like crazy on that game. It's kind of disheartening. Like I've slowed down playing it just because of that. But I don't know. I mean, I did clear a GR 100 though, Gizmo. So
Nice.
there's that. Mm-hmm.
Nice, good job. I have yet to break the 100 on any of my seasons. I think I've gotten in the 90s, but for me this last week, it's been a busy last week for me outside of gaming, so I haven't had as much of game time. But I've gotten some heroes in, and then of course the Apex Legends, which is fantastic. So I could talk about that for a long time. This is a Heroes podcast. We don't need to hear about that. So yeah, it's been a fun week, and I'm looking forward to this next week. We got some stuff in PTR we're going to talk about. But before we get into the news, Workhorse, I kind of want to jump back to you here. And, you know, for the people watching the live show right now, you probably have a pretty good idea who Workhorse is. For people who are listening to the episode on the audio feed, you probably know who Workhorse is from HHE. But, you know, for people who may not have... know who you are. I just kind of want to get a feel of, kind of what got you into gaming, then into the competitive scene and to creating HeroesHearth.
Oh my gosh. How long is this podcast?
It is. There's no time limit.
Okay, well, good.
No time limit Lords of the Storm.
So I guess there were 3 questions there. How did I get into gaming, and how did it evolve into all this madness? Well, I've always played video games. Back in the day, played plenty of Zelda, and I actually early on was super into sports games. Like I would love Ken Griffey Jr. and I would love the NHL franchise. And I've actually pretty much exclusively played NHL games for like a decade because I was on tour all the time in a band, and so there wasn't really a good way for me to like play internet games. And so it wasn't until 4-5 years ago that I really started to like click with what gaming could be. That being said, I'm an amazing GM for every NHL franchise I've ever touched, just so you guys know. But it really clicked. I was like a huge Magic player, loved playing Magic, easily fell in love with Hearthstone when that came out. And so that kind of spiraled into my Blizzard fanboyness, because actually Hearthstone was my first exposure. I always knew what Warcraft was, but I played Warcraft 2 way back, but I didn't play World of Warcraft at all until literally Legion. Actually, the right before Legion. And so I was kind of a noob on that front, and Hearthstone kind of sucked me in, and I had friends who convinced me to figure out how to play Heroes on my terrible Mac laptop with the trackpad.
That's where I started.
With the trackpad?
Oh my God. Man. Holding Option to right click. It's like,
wow.
It was, oof. But Heroes got me really early. The open beta came out, and that game, it just became a part of my life immediately. And so Heroes, one of the biggest complaints I saw, heard, even thought was, how do I find people who are like me? How do we find people to put together a squad? And there weren't any tools in the game at the time to facilitate that. So we started putting together, myself and Breakfast Princess, who is a hero streamer, who is my fiance at now. She and I started building a social network based upon an old social network that I had created for Magic called The Meadery, which was this little deck builder, kind of cool little, hey, check out this red-white deck I got going on. Social network. It was great. But we took that and expanded upon it and started the community site, HeroesHearth.com. And once we launched it, it became, pretty popular. And with that, we were able to kind of leverage it with my very good friend Brasky, who's the other co-owner of HeroesHearth Esports, to launch a team. And that's when we got connected with what eventually became the HGC team for HeroesHearth. And that was sort of a Reader's Digest version. A lot of stuff happened, but that's basically the summary of it.
Okay, very cool. And finally, where did the name Workhorse come from?
Oh God. Okay. Well, truth time. It's all truth, but the embarrassing truth is that I'm terrible at video games. Like in general, like I don't pick them up quickly. I get nauseous while playing FPSs. I'm just bad at it. But I am a master of grinding until I'm really good. And so that was the joke. The Workhorse name came from me literally having no raw talent for video games, but just making it happen. And then it worked, you know. I'm pretty good at a couple games now.
Okay, awesome.
I hear you're an Abathur legend.
That's completely untrue. That is such a lie. Oh my god.
Are you an Abathur legend with the trackpad still? Because then I'd be really impressed.
Oh gosh, yeah. At that point, I don't even know if you could play Abathur with a trackpad. Like it was rough going.
So a little behind the scenes here. Initially, because Workhorse was on this week and he is an Abathur legend, we were going to go over Abathur for Hero of the Week. But as of things currently in PTR, that became a bad idea. So even though we're sure Workhorse has already picked up the new Abathur and is climbing up GM
Mastered
with it. So.
Probably, yeah.
I don't know where this meme started, you guys. You're going to just perpetuate this.
All right, let's go ahead and hop on into the news. All right, first up here, the toy event, extended once through February 4th, has been extended again through February next Tuesday. I don't know what day that is.
February next Tuesday?
It's going to be the, come on calendar, 12th?
Perfect.
12th.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Which makes sense. That's when the PTR is switching over to live, so
Yeah, and
good time to take that off.
I like it, you know?
If you haven't gotten what you want by now, you're probably not going to get it.
Yeah. And I know there was a bunch of people this last week that spent gems to get stuff because they thought the event was ending, which is smart, and you should have probably done that anyways. And the chances of you getting a duplicate are not very, large, but could happen. But, worst case scenario, you're just getting some more shards, so that's good. But I need to pick up one more unicorn on there. Did you guys get everything you want? Is there anything you're still needing from the toy stuff?
I really want the zombie unicorn still. That's the only thing.
I think that's the one I'm gonna craft. I got the red lion mount. I think I got one of at least each of the skins. So, but even though those mounts are cool, like Barco Polo is my jam now. So I don't even know if I'll use.
I love that mount.
He's
such a good mount.
So
it is good. Now, is he here for a limited time? Do we know?
Probably because he's one of the. Yeah, he's one of the.
Yeah, usually the gold mounts rotate out. Yeah, it's 10. Yeah, usually they rotate around.
Yet, right?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
As soon as anyone knows that, tell me, because I don't want to be scrambling like I did for Wonder William. Even though we got an extension on Wonder William as well, so
yeah,
we'll see.
I think, has anyone else been getting really high rolls like the last week or so on the game board?
No.
Nope. Okay. I was wondering if they cranked it up or something, because like during the initial time this event was running, I was getting like 1s, 2s, and 3s. And then at this point, I've gotten 4 6s in a row. Just cranking around that thing. So
get a lottery.
You're winning the RNG game.
Yeah.
For
My last roll was a 2.
Okay. Well, then apparently they didn't crank it up then. I thought, figured maybe they would do that, but I guess not. But yes, that is going through Tuesday, and then we will have some other stuff popping up through that is in the PTR right now that will be hitting live at that time. Next up, Kevin Michael Johnson. Sweet Kevin Michael Johnson. He has officially announced his departure from the Heroes team, tweeted out, "Hey buddies, thanks for your patience as I looked into the future of my work at Blizz. I will be transitioning off of Heroes and onto other things. I love this game with all my heart. You've made working on it some of the most satisfying creative years of my life. Thank you." Which honestly, I don't know if I just made this up, but I thought whenever that initial announcement happened that he was already going to be leaving. Maybe I just assumed that he might be one of the ones moving over.
I actually thought that too. So maybe it was just a really good assumption, but I felt like I heard that like he was like one of the first pieces to move. So maybe it's just official now.
Yeah, that might be it. So this didn't surprise me, I guess, whenever it now has officially come out.
I cried a little bit.
I mean, it is sad. Like, his voice is extremely unique. I think it's perfect for the Hero Spotlight videos. He did the live announcements during competitive stuff. But, him leaving the Heroes team, this doesn't necessarily mean that he will no longer be doing Hero Spotlights. We'll just kind of have to wait and see on that. I'm sure he's possibly already done the next Hero Spotlight. And then, that's something I'm not... Voiceover work is not easy, but whenever you've been doing the same formulaic thing for a period of time for Hero Spotlights, I imagine they don't take a super long time, so there's still a very real chance he'll be doing those going forward, I think.
And not just for Heroes necessarily, right. But didn't he do a lot of the voiceover for BlizzCon itself this past year? I seem to think so.
He did for the Heroes.
Yeah, he always does the Heroes stuff. Least.
Well, yeah, for sure. But I could see him expanding into that sort of space. But he's also, you have to remember, he's one of the creative guys. He was one of the guys behind the lore focus last year. And I don't know, because all he says is that he's moving on to other things. Typically in Blizzard, I've found that when they just say something nebulous like that and not specifically, I'm moving over to the WoW team or something, my guess would be incubator, probably something that he can't talk about. And if that's the case, maybe they're building out something that they need more creative content leads on, where they're truly fleshing out maybe a whole new world we don't even know about yet. So it's actually it's one of those moves where, yes, it's sad to see him go, but at the same time, whatever he's going to could be super exciting.
That's a good look at it. I like that.
I like that perspective. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And like Gizmo was saying, it's with the most likely, at least somewhat reduced amount of heroes we're going to get this year, it would not be incredibly demanding on his time, most likely, to still record Spotlight videos.
Mm-hmm. And
I think there's probably a pretty decent chance that he will keep doing that.
Yeah, it looks like Black Cat in chat was saying he was still doing StarCraft 2 stuff while he was on the HOTS team.
Oh, okay.
Which I didn't know, because I don't know anything about StarCraft 2, except that I'm really bad at it. So chances are pretty good, but we'll have to wait and see. But we wish him the best on whatever it is he's working on now. I did have the chance to meet him at BlizzCon this last year, and he just seems like a really passionate guy about the stuff that he works on.
He's a super cool dude.
What this means necessarily for Heroes lore going forward, who knows? I think we kind of had questions on that whenever the announcements and stuff came through anyways, on what their story team looks like at this point. I know, I think for the most part, the community was somewhat let down by the lore that came out and the amount that was coming out on it. I did enjoy it. I still want physical comic books. Please make them happen. But, we'll see going forward.
The lore, I do think, is still continuing, though. And we're going to get into one of the reasons why I think so here in a second, but also the teaser images that have come out. The potential skins being released.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Those definitely had because it's a few skins in there. Anti-Viper was the billing of it there. And so that's still tying into some of the story stuff from last year. So I don't think they've totally dropped the thought, which is actually good to see.
They've always had the lore kind of all the way through. It's just mostly been kind of in the background a little bit, and the Orpheus stuff just brought it to the forefront. It'll probably step to the background again a little bit.
It's in the background of a particular image that's been leaked.
Okay, Greg, go ahead.
Before, your guys' transition skills are incredible, and I love them. But before we do it, Workhorse, what was your opinions kind of and stuff on the lore that we got whenever they announced that was a thing? Were you into it? Was it just kind of when it happened, it's cool to read it? Or,
So a running joke about me with my circle of gamer friends I have to put up with me in their headsets is that I actually just love lore, just in general. I made a joke earlier that I was a pretty new WoW player, but before I actually I think before I max leveled any character, I had read 4 books. Just because I really enjoy digging into the universe as much as possible. I was the same way with Star Wars and Star Trek back in the day. But with the Heroes lore, it felt just like tip of the iceberg stuff. We were just going to get into it. We were just figuring some things out. So honestly, there wasn't enough for me to really feel strongly one way or the other. I just wanted to know more. And so if more's coming, that'd be great, because it's hard to judge the landscape when you can only see like just like a little bit of it. And so I was hoping we'd get like the full picture over the next little bit, and maybe we do, maybe we will, because it could be that maybe they had done some ahead of time, or like they had already mapped it out Game of Thrones style years in advance, like that's the way to go. Like, so who knows? In terms of my opinion, I think I couldn't really, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed reading about it, but I never really was like, couldn't get super into it without it like actually getting into it. If that makes any sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Have you checked out any of the WoW comics?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They're so good. They're super hard to find now. I have the first couple volumes, and
oh, are they?
What?
Oh, mysterious.
You must have a good comic book store.
I definitely have
one. Yeah. I've been getting into like the Chronicles and stuff, but I've never read one of the comics. Yeah,
they're really good. And the volumes are easier to find than the actual comics now. But like A to Z comics here in Blue Springs, I'm sure TBK and Multi, you guys are aware of it. Like they had some, totally. And then eventually I just bought them all, and I was like, "Hey, you guys getting any more WoW comics?" And she was like, "Probably not." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Was that Deb? Is Deb still there?
Yeah, yes, she is.
Good old Deb. And I used to play Shadowrun in high school in that comic book store, and same lady, still there.
Magic tournaments, Magi Nation tournaments, lots of good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now that I have gone past the time where your guys' awesome transitions would transition well into this, we're going to pretend that never happened. And hey, TBK Multi, great transitions for this news here. Spoiler alert for those who don't want spoilers. Spoiler alert.
I love potatoes.
That's the only sounder I have that isn't already assigned to something. So we're using J How I Love Potatoes.
That was
for
a good one.
Alert.
That is good, yes. We should use that for more things.
Yeah, it is good.
And we should preface this also by saying, normally we don't like to talk about spoilers stuff at all, because I think I can speak for everybody. We like being surprised. We like when Blizzard gets to reveal stuff the way Blizzard wants to reveal it. However, this is all over Twitter. This is front page of Reddit. This was posted in our Discord, and so we're gonna talk about it a little bit.
It's also spicy level 10.
Yeah, it is
full on.
Yeah, totally.
So, and that is the new possible hero that is going to be announced next, which is
Manduin. I love potatoes.
I was gonna do the spoiler thing. Anduin, yes.
I like potatoes.
Lane Rin. Anduin has not been announced. He has been potentially leaked. We don't know yet. But yeah, the skin that was kind of leaked with this is a very Neo Stormwind President Anduin, it says, with Neo Stormwind in the background. Looks like he does have, why can't I think of the sword's name? Charlemagne. That's it, yeah.
But it's not Charlemagne. It's like a sci-fi looking Charlemagne, right?
Yeah, it's because it's with the skin.
Bigger than the regular Charlemagne. I know it's with the skin, but I don't know. It seemed longer to me. This image.
Maybe, I don't know I don't know how tall Anduin is. How tall's Varian?
Yeah, maybe he's a short boy.
Yeah.
Could be.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I imagine it probably is Charlemagne just because it is older Anduin here. But the Nexus can break rules. There can be two Charlemaignes. Why not? But the skins are really cool. I'm excited to potentially see some more stuff going on with Neo Stormwind. The skin here kind of looks like, I don't know, like a mech pilot, potentially. He's got some weird implants in his forehead and on the side of his heads. I guess that's what those are. But I think they're cool. And I know, who was it that was announced when we had initially thought Anduin was going to be out? The person, was it Orphea, or who was right before BlizzCon? Does anyone remember?
Mal'Ganis.
Mal'Ganis. Yeah, that's when we thought. I think initially that Anduin might be coming then, and then it was Mal'Ganis. So he looks like we may be seeing him soon. Does everyone think probably going to be a support? Is that what makes sense here?
I'd hope so.
Yeah.
I want to see multi-class. I want to see him follow in his father's footsteps.
I mean, they said that wasn't a thing anymore. Talent
after level 4.
Who knows now?
Yeah, I don't know. I break all the rules, Blizzard. Who cares? Let's just let's make things crazy. We don't have HGC to support. We don't have a giant team to support anymore. Let's just do whatever the crap you want. Make it crazy. We're going back to multi-class, boys.
I think it's possible because here's the thing:
Shadow Priest, Holy Priest. Boom.
He is a priest for sure. Like, I mean, that's just a thing. He's the priest hero in Hearthstone, as you would know, Workhorse, of course. Although I've replaced him with Tyrande forever ago because, why not? And so there's that. But so I don't think it was this past BlizzCon, but the one before, there was a panel that they had talking about, what class is, Anduin, because they had this cinematic for BFA that came out at the time, and you saw him with Charlemagne duking it out, using the light both to fight and then res his entire team, I guess would be the way to call his army. So there was all that going on. So, but I know they clarified for sure that, I mean, he's a hero class in a sense because he's the king. I mean, he is a priest, but he can also wield the sword, et cetera, et cetera. But then they did specify that, I mean, when all is said and done, he is a priest. So I'm guessing you're right, TBK. If he's multi-class, I could see something like 3 specs, one of them being a bit more melee, where he's actually using Charlemagne and getting in there, but then the other ones being like Shadow, and then maybe a mix of like Holy, Discipline, Priest. I could kind of see that if they go that route. But I think if they go with one thing and one thing only, it's going to be just Priest, probably a support. But then he's going to use Charlemagne somehow, so it would be super interesting. I don't know. Either way, I think it's going to be this weird mix between this ranged healer and, I mean, he's reaching for the sword in the image, right? So he's got to use the sword for something, I think.
Yeah, it's
waves it around. It's like
it's completely just a prop.
He just throws it in the sand and then cries toward the heavens.
Yeah, every time he casts an attack, he throws the sword down and then picks it up afterwards.
I have a theory.
Go ahead.
So my theory. So we see him with the sword, right, and it's like sheathed on his back. I have a theory that he's going to be just like a proper holy priest because we already have Whitemane as a discipline priest. So probably not going to go there. And my theory is that he grabs the sword and throws it down, which we see in a cinematic, and he does it a couple of times, I think, in game too. But that would be one of his heroic abilities.
I like that.
So like just like how Malfurion has, Twilight and escaping me right now, the other one that heals it, Trank. There you go, Tranquility. He probably needs some sort of disruptor, some sort of damage dealer, and perhaps he just like hucks the sword to the ground. Because why is it sheathed? Is it just a part of a cool animation, or is it like he actually has the sword sheathed the whole time unless he casts the heroic?
Oh, interesting.
That's an interesting idea.
I could see that being like him throwing it down, kind of like in the cinematic, and then it being like a mass team heal, or maybe like AoE type heal. I have been playing some League lately, so like Soraka, if you guys have played her.
Oh, sure,
or like a redemption item type thing. That it would be interesting to see how much it would be, just because that you have to be real careful with that, otherwise you're going to be really overpowered. But that's cool. One of the things I don't think is going to happen, but I really like where this person is going in Reddit. Ray77, multi-class, level 1, choose between Holy Spec, Shadow Spec, and Twin Blades of Fury. Can you imagine just having a Twin Blade Anduin and a Twin Blade Varian? That would be the best Carbot episode ever.
Yes.
That would be cool.
Yes.
Please complete my life, Blizzard. Thank you.
I would only play Twin Blade Anduin.
Of course, yeah.
I thought it would be kind of interesting, and I don't think we've really had a mechanic like this yet, to be where you have like your 1 and 2 key are like Holy and Shadow, and you can actually swap back and forth between them with a small channel time to actually switch to them. And then the
Greymane
different
kind of functions like
and
that
then,
when you think of it.
A
You
little
got the two
bit.
forms, and it changes
Yeah,
how
a
your
little
abilities
bit.
work. Yeah.
But my thinking is, instead of like it'll alter your abilities. You get the two different types, and then the way the talents work is they augment certain things. So you could build a little more holy, but still be able to jump into shadow if you needed to. Or you could build more shadow, but still be able to jump into holy if you needed to. But one or the other might be stronger, depending on how you built them with talents. Or you might even it out and kind of do both. I think that could be super interesting.
That could be really cool. If they have something like that, if he has a shadow form, I desperately don't want it to be just the boring, like, oh, he's a little more purple shadow form that you see in WoW. I want full-on Shadow Reaper Anduin, Knights of the Frozen Throne, Hearthstone, pink hair, the whole nine.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't have that, I'll be mad.
It's a shadow form.
Much as I
bright pink hair.
Want that, I can't see it going that direction just because I one of the things they try and do with their hero releases is try and really keep the flavor of that hero translating into this game. And he's never done anything Shadow Priesty in WoW, has he? Like
no,
that's never, yeah. So I don't know.
Is there like
I really want a Shadow
WoW
Priest
Shadow
game,
Priest though?
I don't think so. I think even Archbishop Faol, or however you pronounce his name, is still a Healy dude, despite being undead. He's the only other big name priest I can think of other than Tyrande.
Yeah. So I mean, you could make one up, right? They've made up characters before that do certain things, but they've also taken liberties with characters as well. So if they go full priest, like Ian said, we've got the discipline priest in Whitemane. So it'd be kind of cool. I think it'd be kind of cool to see the shadow / holy side of things in Anduin.
Regardless, if they do create a character for a shadow priest, it please be a Forsaken model. I really want like the actual Forsaken model in game, and not. Yeah. Yes, Sylvanas is Forsaken.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Doesn't count. I need me some skin and bones.
Yeah.
So, but I'm excited for it, and who knows? Potentially, we may hear something like next Friday. They've been doing like the whole Friday, Saturday, Sunday teaser lead ups. So I would imagine it would either be this next week or potentially the week after. But who knows with the new cadence stuff that they're going off of. So good things though. We're excited for it. What else is up here? The event stuff, kind of event stuff going on in the PTR right now. I don't remember when it was. They came out with the Viper skins for Ana, Genji, and was there another one?
I think that was like last fall. It was Stukov, Ana, and Genji. Yeah.
Which is very much like the G.I. Joe Cobra themed skins, or inspired skins, I should say. Well, we are getting the other half of that, the G.I. Joe side, potentially, and those are, I can't remember the names except for Deckard Payne, which is
a buff Deckard.
A buff Deckard. He uses this big old rifle. Yeah,
right. This giant sniper rifle.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, it's real good. So yeah, Deckard Payne. We got Firestorm Blaze, which is a really cool Blaze skin. Humanizes Blaze. He didn't have the big armor on. He's just got like these two giant flamethrower gauntlets. Initially, I thought that was a Tychus skin, actually.
Kind of looked like first looking at it, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then we have Delta Hanzo, which I really like. It's very Rambo-esque.
Yep.
And I really, part of me wants like his storm bolt or whatever to shoot a chicken. I can't. Does anybody know the name of that? Yeah,
that's from what was that
Charlie Sheen's Rambo.
Hot Shots?
Hot Shots. That's it.
Hot Shots.
Oh my gosh.
Would have never gotten that one.
Have you guys seen that?
You're missing out.
Oh my gosh.
Missing out.
So good.
Definitely Definitely worth like 10 minutes of your time.
Just that one scene.
Yeah.
Do I type into YouTube hot shots? I guess
Chicken.
Hanzo chicken.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So those stuff are really cool skins that we're gonna see come out here, as well as some pretty significant changes happening in the PTR to a few heroes. The first one here is Abathur, getting a little rework here. And Workhorse, I know, like, how is this gonna change Abathur? I'm kidding. I'm not gonna put that on you.
I warned him. Let me be clear.
I mean, I warned him. I
warned him. We were gonna ask him this.
Actually, some people think it's actually a buff. Go figure. I mean, some good minds think it's a buff. So we'll see. I don't think anyone's gonna know until it like hits the streets and people get their hands on it for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TBK, you're the most Abathur-esque player that we have here, so why don't you walk kind of through these, some of the big changes here, because there are some.
There's some massive ones, and it's really funny that it's just like this is. I think this is going to be a more fun Abathur to play in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. One of the big things just come from his base ability changes. So Carapace is getting a cooldown reduction from 12 to 6 seconds. And then the duration's going from 8 to 6 seconds. So now the Carapace will actually last as long as the cooldown is. So you don't have to do the throw it on somebody, hop off, throw it on somebody else type thing anymore. And so now it's getting a few talents baked into it. When the symbiote ends, the shield will persist, and the shield now heals allied heroes for 22 health per second while Carapace is active. And so this is kind of, that's of course, nerfed version of the talent, but now we have both of these things getting rolled into the base functionality of Carapace, which is really cool. Yeah. They're also it's a really big change to Locust Strain, with his little locust he poops out. Their duration is going from 25 to 16 seconds, but they're increasing the damage from 34 to 40. So it's gonna be one of those things where if an Abathur wants to get full use out of their trait, they're gonna have to be a little more aggressive.
Yeah, you need to step up now.
They can't be sitting in the back anymore, because your locusts aren't going to do hardly anything. Because that's a pretty big, 9-second nerf on their life. That's huge.
Getting from one gate to the next gate, probably about that time. So I think it's pretty much just going to make it to where you have to be by the nearest structure to get to the next structure to do anything to it. So if you take their fort, you're going to have to kind of be in the area of that fort to start working on their keep.
Right.
Yeah. It definitely will. It will reward aggressive positioning, I guess.
And that's where you would get the split soak anyway. So, I mean, yeah. I think it's a good move.
Yeah, it's true.
It's going to be fun.
Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun. They Evolve Monstrosity is really interesting too, because it no longer takes reduced damage from non-heroic enemies. And now has the ability to deep tunnel to a visible location every 80 seconds.
So
that's
very interesting.
Yeah, that's really interesting too. A lot of talent changes. I don't want to go over all of them, but interestingly enough, and I was kind of wondering if it would happen or not, but Mule stayed.
Yeah,
it did. It just got
healing
nerfed.
is getting reduced from 100 to 90 per second for the buildings, but they didn't get rid of it. I was a little surprised. Honestly.
I thought for sure it was gone. I thought for sure
he was the last holdout.
Yeah.
He is one of the heroes that it has always made the most sense on, though, just because, like, you can burrow to the structure you're wanting to heal, and then you can just heal it and set up next to it and all that kind of thing. So,
but why is a big bug calling down a robotic little healing thing?
Because StarCraft? I don't know. I mean,
why did Tyrande Why was she able to call down a spaceship?
They really should I think since he's the only one that has it now, retheme Mule if they're gonna keep it.
Absolutely. Oh my
Totally
gosh.
agree.
Oh yeah.
Little bugs that fix things.
Yeah.
Or something, yeah. So there was a developer comment for it, and it's basically, for a long time, Abathur has had a unique place in Heroes. Powerful force and high-level play while having a relatively low win rate across the board. These changes are meant to spruce up his talents while streamlining his gameplay and introducing more counterplay to the hero. Carapace, particularly with the sustained Carapace talent, created some awkward gameplay where it was much more efficient to use Symbiote on cooldown even when the desire was to stay on the target, due to the cooldown refresh that it gave Carapace. In order to clean this up, Sustained Carapace is baseline now. The cooldown of Carapace is reduced, so Abathur no longer has to continuously remove Carapace to be efficient, which I think is a really good thing, because that was not an intuitive way to play Abathur.
It wasn't as fun.
Yeah, and not as fun. In addition, Abathur's locusts are now more potent, but they last for a shorter duration, meaning Abathur players will be rewarded for positioning themselves aggressively and punished when they overextend too much.
So
I think it'll be good.
I do as well.
It'll be fun.
I have a theory on why some of these changes may have potentially happened. Getting the built-in healing on Carapace and stuff like that, and making it, I guess, easier to keep that up, less micromanaging now. With the role changes coming up, I think when they at BlizzCon and they showed it, they had him in a support role, which was still kind of weird, because him and Sylvanas, I think, are the two main specialists that didn't really feel at that point like they really fit into any of those roles. And obviously they changed Sylvanas coming up. She does definitely feel like an assassin now. And I think this kind of makes Abathur feel a lot more like a support, being able to support the team in fights, harder to actually just be doing that split pushing, because you're going to have to be much more careful now. And then even with the changes like Evolve Monstrosity, I don't know necessarily how well that's going to do in team fights. But my first thought when I saw this was, oh yeah, he can be pushing, and then much like Dahaka, he can now join in on later team fights to get that fifth body without choosing Evolution or whatever that is called to join the team fights. So
yeah, it does make him a little more Dahaka-esque. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to messing around with it. I think that'll be really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm going to check him out again. Abathur, the first time we covered him, I played the crap out of him to prepare for that episode because I was an awful Abathur player. And I actually got pretty decent at him. But then, for me, he's just a character that I took a break from a while just because I played him so much, and I tried coming back to him, and I was awful again. He's one that I feel
He's
for
got
me
a learning curve,
he
for
has
sure.
to be in my rotation. Otherwise, I just lose everything. So
I think the main question on this, though, TBK, this does not nerf his synergy with Twin Blades variant, does it?
No.
It doesn't look like it.
It increases
I don't see
it.
any attack speed.
I think it
nerf.
increases it.
I think it may, because you have more uptime on the shield and such.
Yeah, and the built-in healing.
Though truth be told, what can nerf synergy with Twin Blades variant?
Nothing.
Nothing can.
Yeah.
Nothing can.
Not even Twin Blades Anduin. It's just more synergy.
The only thing that could nerf it is if the variant player does not go Twin Blades, which is always the wrong move.
I just...
I won a game today on Twin Blades. It was fantastic.
There you go.
I win games all the time on Twin Blades. I mean, in fact, and I'm sure I can just guarantee this with whatever guarantee it needs, that when you take it Varian and Anduin and they both go Twin Blades, they both give each other a 10% buff.
So that, and then they need to come out with a themed skin for them that's a Night at the Roxbury skin. So when you both go Twin Blades and you just get on each side of a person, and you just night at the lights come on and you're just both pounding away at them. It's Twin Blades.
Oh, I was thinking like Dragon Ball, where you both go Twin Blades, but they take each end of the sword and they do the side thing, and then they just become one giant Twin Blades character.
So
father and son fighting for the fusion of the Dragon Ball and the have Spirit Bomb. And I don't know. I lost it somewhere.
The tech is in the game for all of that. That is
It's true.
doable from a programming perspective for sure.
Yep.
I know that's a Dragon Ball Z thing, or Dragon Ball thing, not Dragon Ball Z. But there's a video of some guy doing that, but like he's just in underwear and has whipped cream or something all over his face, and he's charging up, going Super Saiyan. If you guys haven't seen that, I probably sound real weird right now, so I'm just going to stop talking about it. But that's what came to mind.
If you guys haven't seen that yet, don't.
Anyways,
I've not, but I thought the thing
it's on YouTube. I didn't go some weird place. All right.
I am sure it's on YouTube.
We also have Ana getting some changes here. Ana is one that I have been one of the heroes I've been telling myself, like, hey, you should try out ever since they added the piercing darts and stuff in, and I've still yet to do it. So maybe I'll do it this time around. But they have reduced healing on Healing Dart a little bit. Her trait has a new active aim down sights. While active,
which sounds awesome.
Yeah, while active, sleep and healing dart ranges are increased by 25% and pierce one target. So it no longer...
But you slow, like you walk slower while you're looking down the sight.
Yeah.
There's a self-slow of 25%.
And it no longer grants
baseline.
Sight or attack range and the cooldown from 3 to 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Eye of Horus. The heal has been reduced, damage reduced, but it now pierces all targets, but still impacts and ceases on structures. I don't know how I feel about that one, because there's been several times in the past couple weeks where I didn't die because my teammates were body blocking for me on Eye of Horus, and now that can't happen, and it makes me sad. But I guess really it will
now
give
you
that
have to hide
talent,
behind a building.
yeah, more viability, which is a good thing.
I think it's a good change.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really fun to be able to just
Snipe people.
snipe people the way it's meant to be sniped.
Yeah, that makes sense. I hope actually I don't know how it works now. So whenever you select it, you got like your laser light that's going on. Say you are across the map. Is there any like way of you knowing if there's a structure intersecting it? Like, does it stop? Like, can you not see your laser if say you're aiming at someone but there's a building in the way?
In the little scope, it shows the building.
Okay. Cool.
But you're going to have to position really well, because, yeah, you could totally just ruin a heroic if you just miss it, if you just position improperly.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's the same case as now, but now you're getting really rewarded for excellent positioning, whereas before, like, a lot of sniping was just sort of like hoping for the best, or just completely used as a heal for somebody who is out of position or 2 lanes away or what have you.
Okay.
It'll be cool.
Okay. A lot of talent changes on her as well. Don't need to go through all of them. A lot of stuff removed, a lot of stuff added. Vampiric Rounds is new with the traits. Each time you stack max doses on a target hero, it increases strike self-heal by 1.5%, which is good. Gives her a little bit of self-healing, which she has always struggled with. Slumber Shells also at level 1. If an enemy is affected by Sleep Dart, Ana gains 25% movement speed. Also gives her some more escape, which is good. Are there any other things that stuck out to you guys as really cool talents on here?
There's a lot of new ones. I mean, I think
there is.
They aren't quite calling this a rework because, I mean, in some ways it's not, but in some ways it is. I mean, changing up how the activatable trait works. A lot of these traits have been talents have been removed or added. She's one I think we have to revisit at some point.
Yeah.
I'd consider both these Ana and Abathur changes a rework.
Yeah, they're more on like the I don't know what I would call them, like a light rework, because they're not actually
changing base kit stuff. Yeah.
But they normally don't change base kit stuff in most reworks. And we're talking base abilities changed, and in some ways completely. And
I mean, they're starting to move talents into the kit.
Yeah, a lot of different.
True.
I would call these a moderate rework on both her and Abby.
Yeah.
It's a fair assessment.
And it's interesting because they've removed, I think, most of the quest talents from her. And they actually mentioned that in the developer comment, that Ana came to the Nexus during the quest revolution. We were adding them in as many places as we could. We've learned a lot since this time, so he spent some time redesigning and reorganizing Ana's talent tree.
Yeah.
I love that they called it that.
Culminating in the Thrall rework that was quest upon quest upon quest.
It was Varian that came into the game with the first quest talent, right? He was the initial quest guy, and then the Thrall rework came.
Yeah, High King.
Yeah.
I think maybe.
Yeah, I love me some quest
it.
talents, but yeah, they got a little out of hand, I think.
During the quest revolution,
yeah,
of course.
quest revolution, of course.
Quest revolution.
Let's see here. We got White Mane, just one small thing, level 4
Wait a
High
minute,
Inquisitor.
what?
Hold on. I'm saving that
just-
for a reason. It's the
Okay,
biggest
'cause
thing
that's
of the
the main-
patch. Yeah.
It's the main rework of the year.
Saving it for last.
Okay, good.
One element.
The only
rework of
reason
the
I
year.
pointed out is because you skipped another important thing, and that is the flirty cloud mount. But we can get back to that at the end of this.
Yeah. White Mane, High Inquisitor, level 4, mana return per stack reduced from 75 to 50. But
I'm a little mad about that, to be honest. That's actually, I think that in particular is a good nerf, but I think that's really her only good build right now. And if you nerf that too much, I feel like you need to she's been a little bit middling. Because I actually played her Q build the other day, and ever since they took away the free Q heal from that, it has not felt near as good, and the W just gives so much mana back. I mean, I understand why they're nerfing it, but it feels like they might need to bring some of the other talents up a little bit.
that makes sense. And I'm kind of surprised she didn't get any of her talents brought up with that last patch, where that's what that patch was just, 30-something heroes getting off-talent picks brought up. So we'll see.
I mean, she's so good still that I think any sort of buff would be really scary with her, because she was incredibly oppressive when she came out. I mean, as someone who took full advantage and climbed as much as possible when she came out, like, she was, oof. Like, it's because her kit is so fundamentally powerful, and she can make plays happen from almost anywhere, from being out of position to being down in a fight to turning the tide with one great heroic. Like, it's nuts. And so I'm super nervous that they would ever buff her.
I don't think they've done
even some
anything
off-pick
but
stuff?
nerf her.
Yeah, they've only nerfed her. But
Yeah.
to your point of, like, you're surprised you didn't see any numbers come up from other unused builds or less frequently picked talents. I think anything would be rough.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, she has been one of the main. Or her and Deckard for a while ruled the roost, and then of course they nerfed Deckard, and he kind of fell off, and now they've brought him back up. So we'll have to keep an eye on what they do with her if this is too much as far as
It'll be
her being able
interesting to
keep
see
mana
where
up.
she lands after this.
But the biggest change of the year, I'm comfortable saying that because it's pretty early on in 2019 so far. Can we get some barks in chat for Artemis Howe? Rhaegod, Ancestral Healing. Rhaegar can now self-cast Ancestral Healing.
It should say Rhaegar can now self-cast Ancestral Healing again. Never should have left in the first place, but it's been what, like 2 years. It's been like
hasn't
2
been
years.
that long.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, and I'm not gonna lie, I was so excited about this change that I played Rhaegar last night and forgot that this was just PTR not live, and put myself in some really bad scenarios trying to self-ancestral myself and wondering why the heck is my Alt-R not going off. It's because it's still pretty young. Next week, if you see a super aggressive Rhaegar in your game, it's going to be me.
Yeah.
It's going to be everyone.
Yeah,
it is. And
I'm
don't
so
expect
excited.
any of them to ancestral you ever.
Nope.
Because they're just going to do it to themselves.
I'm only ancestraling myself now.
So my question with this is, do you think this is potentially us starting to see changes reverted that now that there's not an HGC? Because we're already starting to see stuff with other heroes for, balance changes and stuff that seem to be, and they have said in developer comments, are trying to bring back down to the more casual player instead of the high skill cap. I don't know if this change was ever necessarily when they first made it, if they had said it was for competitive for any particular reason, but this is a pretty big change to come back out of nowhere for how long it has been gone.
I vaguely wondered that if it was a change based on just the new state of the game and everything, but at the same time, self-casting ancestral healing's just never been the best practice anyway. So, I wouldn't see many scenarios in which an HCC team would craft a strat around that necessarily. So, but I don't know. To me, do you think so?
Mm-hmm. So back in my day, before the HGC, I was on the equivalent of what an open team became. We were trying to get into the HGC, and when we first started, the captain of my squad made it very clear to me that if I were to ancestral myself, I better kill everybody on that other team, to basically prove the worth and the value of truly ignoring your teammates and letting them die, because you better just end it. It's sort of like the same sort of thinking about Divine Shield. You got to use it just right.
Right.
So I actually grew up with the mentality of I'm saving this ancestral for a homie no matter what. But having the distinguished pleasure of working with BBJ, who is the world's most aggressive support player, I can guarantee that that's all he would do. If that, because he's playing this weekend at the Invitational, exclamation point Invitational in chat. There is, if that was live, I guarantee that would every game, self-ancestral, he'd go in and fight.
I'm kind of sad it's not going to be live.
I know, it's kind of we'll be live for fight night. But it will be for some people, and for the bakeries of the world and the Azaleas, those guys are just poetry out there, and so they'll find ways to make that self-ancestral be just insane. Maybe for the layman like you and me, maybe we're not going to be good at it, but it's that I think it was just a skill thing. With ancestral, on yourself, you could really do daring things that could be really dynamic and exciting, which makes great television, which is why it was such a bummer when it was removed, because it made everything just so freaking cool when someone did it. But I think. Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say the whole deal was back when it happened. The big comparisons were around Monk, right? Yeah. And Palm, and being able to do that to yourself, because Rhaegar is a melee support. He was built, and I would argue still is, to be one of the more aggressive supports we have, kind of like Monk can be. But as soon as they took that away, he got relegated. He lost a safety net.
Yeah.
In the ability to be aggressive, and so he became relegated to a background type healer, because if you went in, you didn't have that safety net anymore. Who are you going to target? The melee healer? If you're the other team, probably. Yeah. You're probably going to try and kill them. And it's funny because I asked this for a BlizzCon or two after when we got together with devs, and it's just because I always kept that, hey, can Rhaegar have his self-cast ancestral back? And every time the answer I got was, that is a massive point of contention in the office.
Mm-hmm.
So just as an interesting
it fits the flavor to have it. It fits his flavor. He goes in there and he's the warrior support healer guy. He goes in there, he smacks people in the face with claws, and he's able to heal himself big time to keep him in it. And he calls upon his own ancestors to heal himself, as opposed to healing other people with his own ancestor. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I'm with you.
yeah, the flavor's there. So, I mean, should it have ever been removed from him? Probably not. But is it good practice to always use it on yourself? Probably not.
Yeah, I think,
So,
when it comes
Agreed.
to the choice between using it on yourself or not, obviously not always the best practice, but one of the cool things this does is whenever you took it away from him, like TBK said, he goes in, there's no way for him to really big time heal himself, you target the Rhaegar. But now, at this point, you going in doesn't necessarily mean that you're still going to have to use this on yourself, because it adds another target where the enemy team's having to decide, okay, who is it that we're damaging here? So there's still going to be a lot of situations to where you're not using it on yourself, but just the threat of you being able to do that while in a team fight really changes the decision making for the enemy team, which I think is really cool.
Oh, the mind games of choosing not to use it, and then they maybe hold off on some damage, thinking that you're going to, and yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about
It's gonna
that.
make me want to play Rhaegar a lot more again.
Yeah.
I think because I always played the very aggressive Rhaegar style of play, and when that got taken away, other than the when they changed him again and made Storm Shield super duper powerful, and then they nerfed it really fast. I haven't played him quite as much just because I can't quite be as aggressive. Because, like I said, it's not something you should be using on yourself every time, but it's a nice safety net to be able to have when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't have his Mecha Storm skin, and I desperately need it. I know. It's one of those that I've just been waiting on, and it just hasn't hit. So, yeah.
Okay. And then, of course, we have Flirty Cloud.
the mount I
Flirty
never
Cloud.
knew I needed.
That's right.
Exactly.
There's so many, we talk about movement creep in this. Man, there's some serious mount creep going on. There are so many good mounts these days. Please give us a random button, Blizzard.
Yeah.
For all that is holy, I just need a random button for everything, all cosmetic stuff. It would be cool if you could also have like a synergize button, so I would try and match my colors. But you know what? I get that's a big ask. So, hey.
So here's my question on the Flirty Cloud real quick. So we've talked in the past about how when you ride one of these emotional clouds, you're sending a message to your team, the opposing team, etc. Happy Cloud is, I'm a happy guy that likes rainbows. Sad Cloud is a cry for help. The Angry Cloud is obviously that you're just constantly in a state of nerd rage. But what message are you conveying with the Flirty Cloud exactly? Any ideas?
Add me.
Yeah, I heard I heard that before it was named Flirty Cloud, it was the DTF Cloud. So,
Dang.
But obviously, that just E-rating. You got to keep things. Tychus can't have a cigar. You can't have a
Tychus
DTF
can
Cloud.
have a few
it
other
just goes
things,
hand in
so.
hand. Yeah. But that is the PTR.
No, it's not.
What?
There's a tiny little thing in here that I was actually super interested because I don't know what it means. But under general, it has an AI listing, and it says made several improvements to hero AI behavior.
Did they?
Could be nothing. Could be amazing. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it could mean a lot. Maybe it means that they've updated the rest of the heroes to whatever the current level it is, because they had, I don't remember what hero it was that released, but the way they were doing the AI for him was different, and they were better, and they had been checking those off. Yeah. So maybe, I don't know. Or did they ever? Were AI still doing really weird things, like just like trying to back random points or ignoring
They
pings?
break from time to time, right?
Yeah.
And
I feel
we're
like
getting
it's almost time for another Lord of the Draft.
Oh yeah,
I have
sure.
been wanting a Lord of the Draft. I don't even remember what the records are. We'll have
We
to
can find
go.
that.
Yeah, we'll have to dig and find that and get another one going again.
Black Cat in chat though says that hero AI on the PTR is busted worse than ever. So it could be that they were trying to make fixes and then it broke something. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes.
See how it comes to life.
Yeah. But that is it for the PTR. Hopefully we'll see everything go live Tuesday with the skins. maybe there'll be some orange text in there, which we can hit on whenever that does go live. But now it is time to hop into tournament talk. All right, TBK, a lot of stuff this week. Some stuff just getting announced today, which is exciting, and I have some questions. But go ahead and take it away.
All right, so first off, before we jump into the Workhorse extravaganza, Heroes of the Dorm may have been canceled, but apparently Tespa is not giving up on its Heroes competition. Today, the Tespa announced the Tespa Collegiate Series Heroes of the Storm. The registration for it is today through February 27th. It's online. You're eligible if you're a college student, and the tournaments will take place February 28th through May 26th. It's not quite the same as the full ride scholarships that they were doing before, but it's over $16,000 in prizing. All skill levels are welcome. Recruit your fellow students, form a team, represent your school. Students currently enrolled full-time or who will be enrolled full-time in the spring semester are eligible to compete as long as you have a 2.5 GPA minimum. The prizing is the first place team will be getting a $500 scholarship prize and one Asus Republic of Gamers laptop per player and the sub. Second place gets $300 scholarships per player. Third and fourth get $100, and fifth through eighth gets a $40 BattleNet balance. Top 64 teams at the conclusion of the regular season that qualify for the playoffs will receive an in-game banner and spray.
So
cool.
Do you want to know what my initial reaction to this is? That I've after thinking on it longer, I'm sure it's just unfounded. But when I saw this, my initial reaction is, because Tespa is owned by Blizzard, why continue supporting an esport at a college level if you have no intentions on having a professional scene? Like, what's the reasoning behind supporting this at a college level? Granted, the prize pools and stuff for this aren't that large, but it brings back a sliver, a hope that maybe canceling the HGC and stuff is them just like, we talked with Haloran a lot last week of potentially what some of the missteps of the HGC were and everything like that. Them taking a step back, and while they don't know if it's coming back, it wasn't just, this is done, we're done with it, it's over, maybe there's a future of it, but we're really going to take a look at things and see if something can work out in the future. That's my initial reaction to it. But I don't know. Anybody else have any feelings?
Not sure there. I mean, the bigger hit, I think, to Collegiate Heroes of the Storm was the loss of Heroes of the Dorm, for sure. Mm-hmm. But to me, I mean, I just take this as, I'm glad to see that they're still supporting it in this way, and I like these Tespa tournaments. They do really good stuff in the Hearthstone space too, so I'm glad to see it going on for sure. Yeah,
and I do. Cranky Heroes and Blizzard can't control its subsidiaries, but at the same time, just I feel like somebody has hope for Heroes as an esport. Otherwise, you wouldn't be putting money behind this. So I don't know.
You know who else has hope for Heroes as an esport? Workhorse. Yeah, he's on the episode with us now, and we do.
Yeah, but I'm glad this is happening.
When it comes to Tespa and doing any sort of collegiate event, I think at this point it's kind of like beggars can't be choosers. Like, I'm just thrilled that something is happening. I'm super jazzed that Tespa's into it. They're growing. They're doing really cool things. They've put on great tournaments in the past, and they will continue to so in the future. So even just being a part of the equation, even if it's a small, it is a small prize pool.
Yeah.
It is small, but it's something. That's I like your angle of that. There's hope. It gives a little bit of hope, and that's that's something that we all need. Hope is super powerful, and the more we have of it, the better. Clearly, we all love this game, and so we want to. We need things like this to keep the lifeblood flowing.
Yeah.
You know what else we need, Ian? Things like Fight Night.
That's right.
What a great transition. So the Heroes Hearth first Fight Night happened this last Friday, and like I was saying in the intro, I could not have had a better time watching Jayhow and Haloran and just pros from some of these old HGC teams just having a ton of fun on maps that we didn't get to see in HGC, which was super cool. Seeing some of the strategies on there and seeing Imperius for the first time in what is basically the equivalent of pro play. Mm-hmm. So Workhorse, I wanted to kind of hand it over to you to kind of give a little summary of little recap of Fight Night. Your favorite moments. Did it meet your expectations, and the plans for the future?
Ooh, okay. Well, Fight Night has been in the work for a long time. Actually, when it first started, this is an idea that I pitched to Kai Berries and Jules and Brasky ages ago, where we were going to take 1v1s, and we were going to bring them to one of the tribute spawns on Cursed Hollow, and we were going to have them do a best of 5 duel series, and then we were going to turn it into a YouTube video where we'd edit in and overproduce kind of like a Street Fighter-y Dragon Ball Z style. It was
fighting game.
Yeah, like a fighting game. And then we were going to have Haloran do his best old-timey radio voice possible. And that was going to be
a good one.
Like horse racing.
Yeah, it was, and so it was going to be like this 10-minute thing that was just like every so often we do it. And what we were going to do is we were going to have people challenge each other. Like the pilot concept would be Trixler was going to challenge Kaldor to who was funnier, and the winner of Fight Night would be the winner. So that was the original idea, and then once the HGC cancellation went down, the idea was just we could do anything. And in the core of the idea remained, where it was just it needed to be this bare knuckle brawl, super fun, kind of over the top. Let's not be too serious, but also let's watch some seriously fun gameplay. And then we wanted to have it was actually really clutch that Haloran and Jayhow are like best buds, because the idea behind it is like, why do we all love watching Heroes? I mean, esports in general too, but specifically Heroes has such a, I don't know, it's a great communal setting for, high fives and rip roaring and being rowdy. And I think that's what we really wanted. And so those two coming together was just like the best. They both had so much fun, and they really just made the show something very special.
It was some of the best casting I've ever seen, hands down. And the way they did it,
so funny.
The way they did it, because they said out the gate that they were letting their hair down, and then Jayhow's giving Haloran crap for not being able to, stuff like that. There's just so much of that kind of stuff going on the whole time. I was just digging it.
And we're going to do more of it. I mean, it's every other Friday or twice a month. I guess we're probably going to eventually take 5th weeks off occasionally. But the idea is for it to be this pay-per-view style WWE, let's tear it up kind of thing. And I think it's going to be really fun. I think it's going to be fun in the long term. The bounty system is really fun. For those of you who don't know how the bounty system works, is all the bits that are donated during the broadcast, a quarter of them are going to one team, a quarter to the other team, and then 50% of it's put into bounty, which is rolled over to the next week unless the champion claims it. And so this first week, it was not claimed. So starting out next Friday, the bounty already has $500 in it. So I don't know, it could grow. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
And the secret hope is if the bounty hits I don't know, $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000, maybe some strange teams start forming to come and claim it. I mean, Dreadnought's playing this weekend in the Invitational. I mean, I know that Bakery still got his chops. You never know. You never know who's out there and sees that bounty price tag and want to go get it. So, yeah,
start turning from competitive but having a good time to like each week and out. You see it's getting a little bit more cutthroat. It's getting serious here.
Yeah.
See what's going on about chat.
Can we talk about how amazing it was that we raised like almost $1,000
in 3 hours?
3 hour span.
It was
like,
insane.
Holy crap, Heroes community!
HeroesHearth is already going to pay the teams for being there. I mean, obviously our prize pool isn't huge because it's like a show and we're trying to put it on really consistently. But like having the crowdfunded element is necessary, but the success of it was completely wild, like totally wild. I couldn't have asked for more of a positive response, and it was honestly the whole crew that was involved. There's 8 people that make this show. Everybody was like pretty emotional about it, pretty excited about it. We're really looking forward to doing more.
Awesome. I was super stoked for it going in. I just thought the game show kind of idea was really unique and would have been fun, but it in every single way exceeded my expectations. And it's really cool because, in the HGC, we saw these, the best players in the world coming together and, extremely organized. Yeah, those matches are fun to watch, but typically there's going to be less than like 10 deaths total in those games, which at some points can kind of be anticlimactic until the end of the game. These games are like, it's the best players in the world. They're here to still be competitive, but also not be afraid to just try wacky stuff and have a good time. And it was just a bloodbath. Lots of death. And then I think the highlight for me was it Cure on Zeratul down in bot lane, I think on Towers of Doom.
That was
just
so
with
cool.
Dancing around.
Juke City.
That was Alterac Pass.
Oh yeah.
Which again, the first time we got to see Alterac kind of at a competitive
That was
level.
really fun. Yeah. Just seeing that map alone was great.
Yeah.
Land Volskaya and Garden of Terror and Black
Hearts.
Black Hearts, yes.
Oh my gosh. Black Hearts.
Oh god, that map.
Oh.
But it was really fun
I
to
was
see it.
gay.
It went on
I
forever
liked it.
too. It actually came down to like the wire.
So
Yeah,
were they
super fun?
were they only playing to try and like push with objectives and coins? I feel like there was, because I don't feel like I saw like any actual like, hey, let's go take this fort. It seemed like, and there was a lot of coins being held at some points.
There were a lot of coins going. I mean, like, the general consensus is that in Black Hearts Bay, you literally don't need to fight anybody
Yeah,
to
it's
win.
just
To win. And so there was a lot of really fun positioning and like, is it boss now? Is it boss now? Or is it boss now? Like there was a lot of. It was really fun. It was a really good game.
Yeah.
Plus a Murky
Yeah.
and a Valera.
Probius.
Probius. It was the whole thing. It was just me smiling and laughing for like 3 hours. It was amazing. If you haven't seen the VOD is up. The VOD is up right now on the Heroes Hearth YouTube. We'll have the link in the show notes, lordsofthestorm.libsyn.com. Go check the VOD out. It is worth a watch.
Yeah. And then definitely try and catch the next one live. Like I had mentioned before, like this is the perfect amount of Heroes to sit down and watch on a Friday night. A best of 5 series. Like it's not too short. It's not too long. It's really fun to watch. And again, the turnout was incredible for this first one. So let's all be there for the second one, and then let's share the crap out of this stuff and make it even bigger and better.
Appreciate it.
And that next one will be the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Team Feed'em versus
Team 12.
Team 12. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Team Feed'em had to agree or had to decide what they were going to do with the bounty before finding out who the next team is. So we already have teams booked, and it's all secret. So
love it.
Yeah.
I like how
much fun.
when they were trying to decide, they're like, Mac Daddy was great. First off, like, well,
Mac Daddy was
Mac
like McIntyre, are you playing? And he's like, I can't I can't say anything.
His commentary was the best. He would just get in there and be like, "Oh yeah, I saw a lot of people kill each other. It was pretty cool."
A lot of people making bad decisions, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. So yeah, the 15th, the Friday after this one. So be sure to check out. What time is that, Workhorse? What time and channel?
8:30 Central. 8:30 Central on twitch.tv/HeroesHearth.
Boom.
Yeah.
Come with your bits.
Or
bits.
come with your chat spam.
Yes.
Either way.
Very little moderation in that chat.
There's very little moderation of the casters either, which made it that much better.
Way better. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's HGC after dark, really.
Yeah.
It was super fun. And speaking of super fun things that are coming up real quick, we have the Toastie and Gladman Tempo Storm Heroes Invitational. And as of today, they announced that Jayhow and Kala were going to be casting that. And that will be February 9th and 10th at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. UTC on twitch.tv/tempo_storm. And they just announced this week the teams that were going to be playing in it. They're bringing back Murloc Geniuses, June, Caterpillar, Fan, Leon Black, Big Impact, HeroesHearth, which we'll talk about that a little bit in a second. But Crowan and McIntyre and Ishbu are going to be playing that, and I think we got TBDs on a few of the teams still have TBDs. Cataclysm, Fae, Equinox, Dark Chimera, Fury, Casanova, Looking for Work, formerly LFM. They played in this last fight night, and they did great. It was a ton of fun. Endemic, Scythe, Team Freedom, or Team Feed'em, I guess now, which also played in this last fight night, and then Team 12, formerly Simplicity. So this is gonna be big time. This is gonna be $5,000 to $10,000 prize pool. There's gonna be crowdfunding of some sort for the prizes for this as well. And I'll throw it over to you, Workhorse, to talk about this a little more in depth, and why HeroesHearth is playing in it, because I know there's been some questions around that, and Brasky put out a little blog and whatnot. So you can talk about this, but this is kind of the pilot, I guess, for Tempo and some of these other organizations to gauge whether the audience and the people are there to do bigger things.
So, long story short, this is, like you said, the pilot, the Prove It tournament, to sort of see if these guys can put together the spiritual successor to the HGC, but like smaller, bite size, more appropriate for what resources are available now. So the Toastie Gladman Invitational is what it's called, and it was put together by those two, along with the studio and staffing of Tempo Storm. The Tempo Storm has a really cool studio in Los Angeles that they're going to be using, those tools and resources to put the show on, and they organized, putting together or connecting the 8 former HGC teams in North America to get them involved in playing in the tournament. We were brought on as a promotional partner, essentially like a community outreach thing. We're not actually involved in any. And this is to TBK referring to Brasky's blog post. Is when they announced the teams, everyone saw funny, goofy names, and they saw HeroesHearth's flame, and a couple people were concerned that there would be a conflict of interest between us having a team in and also being a tournament organizer. First of all, that makes perfect sense. We were worried about that too. However, the reality is that we weren't a part of the actual organizing part of it. We were just a part of the oh my gosh, this is happening, we should tell everyone about it part of it. And the guys that are playing under our banner for this weekend, Crowan, Ishbu, BBJ actually is in it too, and McIntyre, and then also secret special guest Dreadnought are playing. They had the option to, I mean, like they didn't have to play. They're not under contract with us. They could have just not played at all, but they wanted to, because they wanted to have like a nice fun, depending on who you are on the team, maybe it's a little bit of like a last hurrah, a little bit of a, hey, let's get together and just have fun and try crazy things. And so we were happy to have our name attached to it, but we're not getting any money or anything like that. All the players get 100% of whatever they earn. And to that end, we are haven't been and are not a part of the business affairs of the tournament at all. We're just sort of the community folk. Hopefully that explained it. All right.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, so that is coming up this weekend.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Saturday
Holy
and Sunday.
crap. Yeah, get your eyes on the screen, because the more people watching, the better for this type of thing. And it's going to be high level. Like this is as high level Heroes as it gets from a North American standpoint.
And where we just discussed the goofy shenanigans of a fight night, this is the sweating, going for the W end of the spectrum. This is the full-on try-hard mode. Like I said, it's I think this is the thing that's gonna hopefully prove that a league or a series can be put together by that group of orgs that could be, really that high-level competitive play. I don't think it's realistic that we'll get to an HGC level, because that was a lot of money and a lot of resources to put that together. But something cool, something that can honor the talent and the time that is required to be that good and to compete at that level, I think can be put together. And hopefully with Tempo's organizational resources and with Toastie and Gladman's involvement, they can put something sweet together.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, this could be the kind of thing that like starts to drive the meta again. We really would get a first feel of what this new meta in the state of the game right now is, with like XP changes, some of these new heroes and that sort of thing. So, I mean, I didn't get to be on last week's episode with Haloran, but he discussed that a lot, about how we kind of need this sort of scene to grow so that we can continue to have that just something to aspire to and look up at, and have like the meta trickle down from and that sort of thing as well. So no, I'm super pumped for this, and I would encourage anyone to, even if you can't actually watch it live, I'm going to throw this out there again. Turn it on, throw it on your laptop, go do your chores, go do your laundry, whatever. Get your name attached to it in some way, because the more views this thing has, the better chance it has to succeed, right? So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm really excited to see some of these teams play, and like Murloc Geniuses and Cataclysm. There's a lot of players that are great players in here that we haven't seen in a really long time, like Faye and Equinox, in Dreadnought. I mean, legendary support player for
It's so
Tempo
cool
Storm.
to see him play again.
Yeah, and, he was a big Rhaegar player, so maybe they should just play on the PTR for this tournament. Why not? There's nothing saying they can't. But it's going to be really cool. And I noticed this at Fight Night, and then playing for Looking for Work, which, by the way, the team names Looking for Work and Team Feed'em are fantastic.
On point.
Swabs Magoo might be my favorite name in esports at this point. So somebody's got to be more creative here. Swabs Magoo is winning it for me.
Caesar salad's pretty good too.
It is.
Throwing that out there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it, and this is like Workhorse said, this is not HGC money, but this is not a tiny amount of money either.
No.
And so this is really cool to see, just kind of coming out of the gate. It's just like, yeah, HGC is over. Okay, we're gonna put our best foot forward. Let's do this awesome tournament. Let's get pretty much the premier high level players in North America on all these teams to come and play. This is the kind of Heroes I want, and it's a great format too. It's all best of fives. and then single elimination, and then a best of 7 finals.
I do want to back up real quick and give a shout out to some people at Fight Night. There were so many gifted subs that happened during that stream.
Oh yeah,
I think it was like over 100. I know who is it? Toastie and Trixler.
Toastie was a huge sub gifter during Fight Night. That dude is incredibly passionate about making Heroes stay in the minds of everybody who loves the game, and so obviously he's a huge driving force behind this Invitational coming up this weekend. And I mean, I think Toastie and Gladman putting their resources together to do this, I think this is just the beginning of what they can do. I think it's also important to take note that the prize pool is for literally 2 days of competing. It's a fair amount of money for just a short little tournament. And I think it's considerable, especially for getting these pros back into it and having just like 2 days of work. That seems pretty good. But I think they have a lot more planned. I think they have a lot more in the works. If the Prove It tournament really succeeds on a scale that they're hoping for.
Yeah. And Cranky Hero in chat is asking, how is the scene going to be decided? I don't think we know the metrics that Tempo Storm necessarily want to hit, which is basically why we're saying go add your face to watching it. The more views, the better. Of course, I'm sure the more crowdfunding, the better as it goes. So yeah, the best way you can support this is to hype it up on social media, tell your friends, and then be there to watch it this weekend.
I think they meant seeding.
How is the seeding going to be decided? Actually, I don't know what the seeding is looking like. I'm not a part of that discussion, but I imagine it'd be based upon HGC standings. Yeah, maybe just because it's pretty much.
They actually did say in here, I think. Yeah, the top 4 of the 8 teams will be seeded based on the BlizzCon playoff qualifier, with the remaining 4 determined by random seeding.
Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Yeah. So check that out, because that is going to be awesome, and that is going to get me more competitive Heroes fix.
Yeah.
Which is good.
And I've got Twitch set up on my new TV now, so I'm able to just sit back in my lazy boy and watch it, and it's fantastic.
It's the way to do it. Yeah. It's the way to do it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we do have some community content this week. TBK, what you got for us?
So speaking of casting and tournaments and stuff, this is something that showed up and did, in my opinion, not get near enough hype on the subreddit. This is a pretty amazing thing. So the Reddit thread was entitled "Better Hots Casting with Soothsayer." So Professor Bobo, Crow, and Falendrith have developed this thing. They've been in the HOTS amateur scene for a while. While we pushed each other to be better casters, we frequently found that we lacked the ability to communicate information to our audience. Typically, casters rely on a simple scoreboard apps and are limited by static overlays that are not capable of providing viewers with many of the visual components you would expect to see in something like HGC. Now that HGC has been canceled and the abundance of tournaments from casual to semi-professional cropping up, we think it's more important than ever to create a rich experience for the viewers who remain so passionate about the game. So they developed this set of, I guess, applications, you could call it. And it's been developed to provide casters with a platform that is reliable, dynamic, and bursting with features that create a near HGC parity in terms of feature support. So casting at its core is about building a narrative for the viewers, and visual production is an essential part of that. And so it has a map selection screen, standings page, scoreboards, a ticker, a player spotlight, player nameplates, draft stats, tournament brackets, and more features coming in the pipeline in automatic updates. And so there's a whole chunk of like how to set it up for OBS and how to use it. And this is good for casters who are just doing your amateur stuff, your Heroes hype, your Nexus games, Heroes Lounge. It's something that I'm sure we'll be looking into at some point, maybe for Fight Night. Maybe Tempo Storm will use it. Who knows? I don't know. But there's some awesome stuff in here. And if you do any sort of Heroes casting at all, you should check it out. Because this is cool. It's
super cool. It's super well done. It was just dropped on Reddit like days before Fight Night, so we just didn't have a time to like really dig into it. But I know that we're going to really look closely at it, which is going to be pretty fun. And it's cool. It's also another testament to how rad the community is in the sense that just like two really smart people got together to make this killer tool and are just like, here you go, everyone, enjoy. It's just awesome.
Yeah. Here's the thing that lets anyone have near HGC parity for pretty visuals and information tracking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's we had the discussion last week with Haloran and stuff on production. Like, it's important that the things that happen post HGC still have like decent production and stuff to still keep the interest there, because that stuff is important. Like, an esports league isn't just the level of gameplay. Like, you really do need the good production and casting to be there, to still keep people interested, because at this point, that it's just kind of expected when you're sitting down to watch a competitive game. And they had kind of reached out to us on Twitter and stuff because we didn't know about this because it had just dropped. So thank you for doing that and bringing our attention to it, at least, because again, it is fantastic, and I look forward to seeing what potential uses we see from it.
Yeah, totally agree. And also, with round 2 of holy crap, these skins are amazing, we have some more DX skins. Same person we talked about who did the Angel Genji and the Demon Hanzo skins. We have several incredible skins, including a StarCraft Lunara that looks amazing, and I'm not exactly sure, like some Warden Maev thing that looks insane. What tier of preset is that? Who knows this off the top of their heads?
Ooh, in White Main section?
Yeah, for White Main section.
Oh man, I recognize it. I don't know.
It's a tier preset from WoW for White Main.
Yeah, for sure. With the goofy little wings on the back and stuff.
It looks incredible.
Tier 5, Alex the Blight says in chat. Do you know the name of it?
And then
I'll Google a little bit.
Okay, so yeah, check that out. And then finally, a Blood Elf Li Ming that looks so good.
It looks really good.
Like, the effects are incredible. Oh my goodness. This dude or dudette is super talented. Oh my gosh.
I love the Blood Elf Li Ming, and I really like on White Mane how the staff has the clothes, and then there's a little face in there hiding in the shadows on the staff.
Yeah. It was Abathur. Abathur Raiment was the set name. Tier 5. So nailed it, Alex.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's super, super cool. So I love highlighting skins like this because, dang, community, you talented.
I wish I could. But TBK, you're making progress on your drawing stuff, so before too long, we're going to be expecting to see your community skins.
I've been following, man. I've been following. That's been fun.
Yeah, it's something. It's if you follow me on my Twitter every once in a while, you'll see I started like late last year. I'm doing a learning to draw, and I'm going through these online lessons, and then between every few lessons, I'm doing a little project. So I'm doing a little Molly Mock portrait from Critical Role Season 2 right now, and it is by far the hardest thing I've ever done. Turns out art is hard.
Yeah.
You art people, I have so much respect for you. Holy crap. Like, man, art is hard. But it's been a fun little side project, and I've been posting all my stuff on Twitter to kind of for accountability. And so I'm at day 29. Day 29 was today of arting. So it's been fun.
Have you tried out any other mediums, or are you just using like a mechanical pencil, or just like a...
Yeah, just mechanical pencil and paper right now. I'm kind of learning on that, because I know a lot of people do digital now, and I feel like to actually do that, I would need to make at least a somewhat decent investment. So I'm kind of learning some of the basics, I guess, with the paper and pencil, figuring it out, and then maybe I'll go the tablet / Photoshop, or since Photoshop is really expensive, the GIMP GIMP route at some point.
May I suggest, if you're working on some pencil stuff, to just go by Hobby Lobby and pick up a pencil sketch set that has like the different levels of hardness from like 2H to man, it's been so long since I've done this stuff, I don't remember the levels, but even just drawing with those, it's really it helps to learn from the different weights of the pencils, and kind of gets your mind flowing on what to be used where for shading and whatnot, and it can really help.
Yeah, I'm learning like lighting and shadowing and that type of techniques. That was kind of the last lesson, like light sources, casting shadows, and doing some shading and stuff. So I've got one more day on my Molly portrait. I'm gonna do some shading and shadowing in that, and that one will be done, and then I'll move on to the next few lessons. I really need to do a lesson on faces, because all the stuff that I've drawn in the meantime, it seems to be like faces, and it's just like, man, I'm probably not doing these right at all, or I'm probably making these way harder for myself. I really need to just watch a lesson on faces.
Faces are hard. Faces and hands, real hard.
But see, when it's this will totally be Heroes related, because when I get good at this drawing thing, I'll just be drawing hero stuff.
Yeah.
There you go.
It'll be fun.
All right. Well, that's about going to wrap it up for this episode. Before we get out of here, Multi, why don't you go ahead and let people know where the podcast can be found?
Well, you can find us on Twitch for sure, twitch.tv/HeroesHearth, live Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Central, capping off the stream for the evening there. And we're also on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, @Lords of the Storm. You can find us in-game as well, hopefully also for an after-show game right now, right? /join /LOTS. Or you can join our Discord anyway, bit.ly/lotsdiscord. And you can email us with feedback or questions, lordsofthestorm@outlook.com. And if you want to help out the show, a couple ways of doing it. Mention the Patreon, definitely a good way, but another simpler, cheaper one for sure would be to just leave us a review. 5-star iTunes would be super cool. Keep us out there, keep eyeballs on us, and yeah, we'd appreciate it.
For sure. You can also find us individually, myself, on Twitter, Twitch, and HeroesHearth @Gizmozord. I just got, thanks to Matt Center, our personal Zord computer center, I got a new 1080 graphics card, and I'm real excited to be able to stream some stuff I wasn't able to stream on my 970. So
he was just in chat too. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. Shout out to Matt Center, SwiftZord. Yeah, you can find me on all those things, as well as Convert to Raid presents the BattleNet News, where we talk all things Blizzard. Multi, where can you be found?
I'm on Twitter @Multizord, and I'm also on another show called Hearth Casual for people who are into Hearthstone. I don't know if you're still playing a lot, Workhorse, but
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. I need to add you, man. We need to be BattleNet BFFs. Anyway, Hearth Casual with Ro from Realm Maintenance, Brian Black, whatever you want to call him. We are doing a full episode this week because we took the last week off, and it's gonna be one of those where the brawl isn't very interesting to talk about, so we'll have more time to sink into these nerfs and stuff. So should be good.
Cool. TBK.
You can find me on Twitter @TBKZord and over on Heroes Hearth as well. That's really it.
Don't forget.
You can find me on Lords of the Storm. It's a pretty cool hero show.
Don't forget.
I suggest you watch it. Oh yeah, and I'm also on a D&D podcast. It's such a different thing. I for those who don't know me, I love D&D. I love it so much. It's the absolute best thing. And I do a podcast with a few other podcasters called Plus 5 to Hit. So check it out. It's super fun.
I even added it into the notes for you now. That way, just going forward, you won't forget.
I appreciate that.
And Workhorse, thank you for joining us on here.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
We'll have to do it again sometime here soon, perhaps for our Abathur rework. So, why don't you let people know where you can be reached?
You can find me at abathur.abathur/abathur. Workhorse HHE, that's my handle on Twitter and Twitch. I'm actually going to start streaming soon. I've gotten enough harassment. I'm finally caving to peer pressure. So I may play Hearthstone. I may play WoW. I'll definitely play Heroes occasionally. I might even sneak in some games that no one's ever really been talking about lately. So excited to do that. But yep, Twitter is another good place for me. And then obviously probably the most amount of posting I do is on HeroesHearth itself. If you want to see the inner workings of my GIF meme mind, that's where it all goes. So yeah, well, thanks for having me, guys. This was a lot of fun.
For sure. And something I want to do here that I have been forgetting to do for our guests for a long time. So I apologize if you've been on the show and you have not been dubbed yet, but you'll just have to come on the show again. Is for coming on the show, sir, you have earned an honorary Zord title.
What? What? Really?
You have been deemed worthy of bearing the Zord title. Welcome to the Zord Lords. Workhorse Zord. Welcome to the Zord Lords.
Oh, it just flows off the tongue.
Okay, I gotta go reserve the handle right now on all social media platforms.
We have had somebody actually change their battle tag to a Zord title, so I'm not saying you have to. We'll just be real disappointed if you don't.
Is it Workhorse? I mean, you can choose
Workzord. That's fine.
Workzord?
Yeah.
All right.
There you go. Workzord.
Oh, that is awesome. You guys, that's too much. Too much.
But that is going to do it. We want to give a special thanks to our patron producer, Ouroboros Sword, for helping support the show, as well as Wicked Kitten, our mod chat, keeping things cool. The HeroesHearth fam, you guys are all amazing. Listeners, everything, we appreciate you all so much. But until next time, we will see you all same time, same place, right here, twitch.tv/HeroesHearth, closing out the Ready Up Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Central. Have a good one, everyone.
Enough. I shall do no more.